put music down if we can. Got like a bit of Rod Stewart. Right. Before I pass you over to Graham Brooklyn, who's got lots of presentations to do, obviously Frank moving forward. I was just speaking to John Denning, our director of the football club, and just saying how this football club is very, very special. And I think it shows it, because to give up 100 people, to give up their time, knowing the game isn't on, but to come and support somebody in the local community, albeit that it's Frank's 100th birthday, I think it shows that all the sponsors and all the friends and families that have come here today, but this is, ladies and gentlemen, why this club is so special. And I think the fact that you've given up your time is really, really personal. And I'm just saying to John how nice it was and how great it was to work for a club that feels like that about its local community. So can I give yourselves a big round of applause just to say thank you to you guys for giving up your time. Really, really important. Now, I thought it's fitting today, when we mentioned the local community, there's a local business in the local community, and we finally got his logo on the shirt, which we couldn't do the last time. And I wanted just to say to Ian Dawkins from High Speed that we finally got your logo on, Ian. We are proud that the back of the shirt sponsor has gone to a local business, and a man that cares very much about the club and fits in behind the scenes and undercover and doesn't like too much about the ego, and he just likes to help his football club, and he bought this at the auction. And we just want to show you, Ian, that's what your logo is going to be back on our shirt against Halifax at the next home game. So I hope you like it. That's on the red one. So Ian, in his new shirt, ladies and gentlemen, he's got today, especially for today. Ian, could you stand up? Yeah. Come on, Ian, for a High Speed with his new crazy shirt. Welcome. I think he's had a bit too much trifle there, ladies and gentlemen.
So, very special occasion this afternoon. We've got guests, former players from across the years. One of the, I guess, he may not like it, but he might be classed as one of our unsung heroes. But certainly one of the fans' favourite players, Barry Blankley. Barry, delighted to have you back here.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
And you're still living relatively locally, aren't you? Still in Hampshire?
Yeah, living in Southampton now, but all the family is still in Aldershot, Farnham, Farnborough way, and that's yeah, still keep an eye on what's happening at the football club.
What was it like for you looking in from a distance when you heard the news and the stories about the club getting relegated, about the administration? What did it must have felt like deja vu.
Well, it's a sad thing because, well, I left in '87, the year we got promotion. And then obviously always kept an eye on Aldershot, being my hometown as well. Growing up in Aldershot, going to Heron Wood, all the local schools and that. So it was disappointing, but then obviously you see what happens, that the club builds himself up again. I think everything's okay, and then the same thing happens. But hopefully now everything's on an even keel and ready to move forward.
And for you, one of your personal highlights of your time here must be that two-legged playoff final. Tell us a bit about that day as an Aldershot lad as well.
No, that was absolute quality. There was obviously all the family were there. Lots of friends and family from Aldershot went up there, beating Bolton home and away, and then Wolves home and away. And then actually coming back into Aldershot and celebrating the evening. The only down part was there was a car accident with some of the players, unfortunately, but yeah, no, it's one of those things that, like I said, I grew up watching Aldershot, the likes of Glenn Johnson, Joe Joplin, Murray Brodie. Two of them are here tonight as well. So, yeah, no, very special time.
And in terms of the club celebrating today with Frank, as somebody who is connected to the club, you must understand, not just as a player but as a supporter, just how important a football club is to its community, and Aldershot being no exception.
Definitely, especially like you say with Frank, 100 years old, he's actually seen everything that's happened at the football club, and he still looks nice and bright and lively now, even, to be fair to him. But yeah, no, he's obviously seen the ups and downs and everything like that, and hopefully there's a few years left in him to see him arise again.
Thank you, Barry. We're now going to move on to Gordon Macy. Gordon, hello, good to see you back.
Oh, it's good to come back here again, yeah. Don't get it that often, but it's good to come back today, certainly, yeah.
Now, you'll probably be remembered by fans because you were a good friend of one of the most successful modern managers we've had here, Gary Waddock.
Yeah, well, in fact, I was luckily the manager before Gary was Terry Brown. I was also big friends with Terry. I knew Gary from QPR days before he came here, so when I was working here as kit man, it was good to work with two managers of that ilk. Yeah, a really enjoyable time.
And you also have a connection with Nicky Ball. Is that through QPR? How does that work?
Well, I always used to watch Nicky in the QPR youth teams. And so when I knew QPR released him many years ago, Terry Brown was manager. I rang Terry up straight away, and he signed Nicky a day or so later, I think. So my first successful scouting mission for Aldershot.
I think that's a fairly big win, isn't it? That's quite a nice claim to fame, I'd say.
Yeah, I probably should have stopped at that point, 'cause I did recommend two other QPR players who didn't actually make it quite successful later on, so I probably should have stuck when I was winning.
The Gary Waddock era here was obviously hugely successful, both for the style of the football that was played, but also for the things that the club won, and the promotion and the Santanta Shield. How did you feel when you heard the news about the club going into administration again and being relegated? What did it feel like having been part of the backroom team that won the promotion?
It was quite disappointing, really, because obviously I wasn't involved for the last 2 or 3 years, but obviously still knew people here and knew what was going on. I knew some of the directors, obviously, because they were around when I was around. It just seemed to come out of the blue. I'd say rather disappointing, but at least there's something that came out of it. Relegation would have been a good thing to miss, but having been relegated, yeah, okay, it might help the finances slightly because there should be less costs in this league. But yeah, get straight back up. Probably not this year, but next year, yeah, be hopefully okay.
And looking forward, the team are playing well. They are winning matches. Finances seem in better health. Would you like to? It would be a nice kind of finish to the chapter, see them back in the Football League.
I don't think they get there this year. I think there's too much to make up. Although Gary Waddock and I were talking about at the beginning of the season, saying that when we won the conference, we actually won by 14 points. So a 10-point deduction wouldn't have affected us. But not quite the same these days. But I think this year you just got to make sure you don't go down, obviously. Get a good basis to work from and start going for it next year when it's a level playing field at the start.
And finally, as a statistician, what do you reckon about Frank's 100? Not too many of them, are there?
No, I mean, I'd like to know how many games he's actually seen, but it's certainly been a lot more than I've seen. Fantastic, yeah.
Thank you, Gordon. Right, Nicky. Always a pleasure to see you back at Aldershot.
Always a pleasure to come home. Always a pleasure.
What are you up to now?
Last year, obviously about 14 months ago, I left Wickham. The year left on my contract, I decided I needed a break from the game. I played a lot of games, body was starting to feel it, mentally as well, wasn't enjoying it as much as I was, and once Gary Waddock got the sack from Wickham, there was nothing really keeping me at the club. The trust had just taken over and it was all changing the club, and I just felt I needed time out, so I spent the most of last year over in Russia working for a construction company, working in the middle of Moscow. I enjoyed it very much, and now I'm back. I'm doing my own thing regarding property. I've always enjoyed doing property, even when I was playing football. And past couple of weeks I've been training with Fulham. Got the gloves back on, dusted them off, getting in shape, and we never know. We'll see what happens.
I don't think there's any point in me asking the question, because your time here must have been your happiest time in your football career.
Yeah, and it's when I did walk away from football, the one thing I always said to everyone was, the biggest highlight for me was that night at Exeter, getting back into the Football League, and it's heartbreaking to see what's happened, obviously in the last year or two. And nothing will create them days. I played in League 1, League 2, and nothing got close to them days in the conference of Aldershot. Everyone was united. It was a united club. Everyone had the focus, the drive to get back into the Football League. And, it was just honoured to be part of that. It was a real privilege. And like I say, heartbreaking to see what's happened. But, the club's been taken over now. Let's hope that it's a new era again, and the drive's there to get back to the Football League.
As someone who has a bit of red and blue blood in their hair, and you had it in your hair at one time, I seem to recall as well, for one game, is it reassuring to see days like today?
Yeah, it's nice to get people who I would say care about the club all in one room, under the same roof, people that have got the same principles of the club, people that generally have a feel for the club and it means something to them. I think in this day and age, too many people talk the talk and not enough people walk the walk. In this room today, you've got people that literally would do anything for the football club, and what you've still got a hope, and we've still got a football club. We've had dark days, but hopefully they're behind us and we can rise again.
Thank you, Nicky.
No worries.